I quit pursuing surgery.
And why I think you shouldn't.
So hi, I'm CC. I'm a doctor currently training in internal medicine now. But there was a time where I was absolutely gunning for surgery. In my last year of med school, I was in the top 3 cohort for surgery. And after med school, I did a postgraduate diploma in surgical anatomy and got distinction in that. And a couple of bosses were like, CC, you should do ENT, you should do gene surg. And I thought at one point in time that surgery was the coolest thing out there. But there were just a couple of things that pushed me away, and I knew that I'd be unfulfilled if I chose it for my lifetime career.
I'm Oliver, and I'm doing maxillofacial surgery, so I do think that surgery is one of the coolest things out there. When we looked at our social media, we asked one of the top reasons why you don't want to do surgery. And so we're going to talk about these 3, but I'm also going to talk about ways to mitigate all of those problems with surgery. And so if you do those things and you don't like surgery, maybe it's not for you.
So the main things we found were exams and judgment, conflict and responsibility. Now, exams and judgment, this is probably one of the main reasons that I didn't want to do surgery, because every day that you go to work feels like an exam. Surgery is really competitive, it's really hard to get on, and you need pristine references. And that means that your bosses are constantly scrutinizing and judging you for everything that you do, every decision that you make, every word that you say. Now, obviously, it's good because they're trying to choose the best of the best, but I don't think I can handle going to work every day and feeling like it's an exam that I have to pass, or actually that I have to ace. And I think for some people, they don't mind that, but for me, it was kind of a deal breaker.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, but because I've always kind of lived my life wanting to be the best version of myself. And so when I walk into surgery, I know that there are multiple consultants or nurses or other staff that are judging me and critiquing my technique. I see it as opportunities for improvement all the time. And because I want to be the best version of myself, I see them as kind of harmless. As long as you're able to take all of their critiques, not personally, but thinking that they're trying to make you the best version of you, then it becomes less painful and motivating for something to improve on for the next procedure.
I guess you just gotta take everything with a pinch of salt. Now, the second point that we want to talk about is conflict. Now, I'm a bit of a people pleaser, and so seeing the amount of fighting that went on in surgery kind of put me off. It's also a good thing because people are fighting for their patients, trying to get theatre time, marking their territory, advocating for their specialty. But there was a lot of head-to-head collisions between people. I think I'm a little bit soft for it, to be honest.
I'm a little bit soft as well, and also a bit of a people pleaser. But the mindset shift that allowed me to really thrive in those environments is that I'm not walking towards conflict, but rather trying to discover the truth. With my patient and with my specialty, especially in a subspecialty like maxillofacial surgery, you're the only one that knows that procedure to that detail, and you're also the only one who knows that patient. Because I want the best outcome for my patient, and I'm the only one that knows their struggles, I'm really going into that situation displaying and advocating the truths. And whatever happens, happens. And we hope that it's the best outcome in general.
And not every surgeon is really loud and cutthroat and savage, I guess.
No, definitely. There's a lot of surgeons that are kind. And I do honestly think there's a big shift away from that angry, stressful surgeon, because there are different ways to make people less stressed. So that's definitely a good shift that surgery is making for the better.
Definitely. Because I think back in the day, surgery was very black and white. There is only one right answer, and otherwise you're wrong. But I think there's a little bit more openness that's coming through, not only surgery, but also the other medical specialties, that there are often multiple right answers. The final point about surgery is that it comes with huge responsibility. Every single specialty in medicine, you're responsible for people's lives. But it feels really different when you're the one who's made the cut that might have made them bleed out, or cut their nerve and it's made them numb and they can't move anymore.
And that's honestly why I love surgery at the moment. When you take that responsibility, you have the opportunity to help people, you have the opportunity to cure people. And the more that I take responsibility, I've realized as I'm coming into my 3rd year of training, the more fulfillment that I get as well. And that's what I've really learned to love surgery even more, especially as a trainee. I honestly do think if you don't want to step up to that responsibility, I don't think surgery is for you.
True. I think so too. Because at least in medicine, I think that you can. I think that in medicine, you do have responsibility, but it is very much shared. There is a huge system that's in place to support you, and it's always a team effort to get the best outcome for patients. Versus,
Even if I'm away and one of my patients that I've done a large procedure for, people will probably hate me for saying this, but I want to know. Because I'm the only one who knew exactly what happened within that procedure. And I have a sense of responsibility for that. It's like, as I've gone through my surgical training and that like, I want to care for these people. And it's a burden, but also a bit of a privilege in surgery.
I think what's interesting is that it's quite different. You know, I want to know about every single patient that I've treated, but I don't feel the need to have to go back to hospital to see them because there's a whole team that can continue to look after them.
And I think as you go along, you think that every procedure is like 1, 2, 3, but actually what happens is as you develop more skills and experience, you become a little bit more detail orientated to your own skill set, especially that's what I've been trained to do. And you start to take ownership of each of the things that you've done and the different ways you do it. And as I said, it is a bit of a privilege to be able to do that to patients. And I don't take that responsibility lightly.
So those are some thoughts about surgery from both point of views. And I think surgery, it's not for everyone. But if it is for you, then you should go for it.
We hope that it's been really helpful, and especially for me, and I get a lot of feedback that I'm a little bit too nice, kind of soft, and I care a bit too much. I hope that these mindset shifts can help you, but to be honest, if don't help you and you've given them a really good try, surgery might not be for you.
There are a lot of things about surgery that if you don't enjoy, is probably going to make you unfulfilled. And these are only some of the points that we've touched on today. And if you're wondering whether or not you should even do medicine, then check out this video over here and let us know what you think.
If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. We'll definitely reply to them. And thank you guys so much for your time. We genuinely appreciate it, and we hope this is helpful.